Hey everyone, Brian Von VA here, back at it again with another set of D&D stories. Today we've got What's the Coolest Thing a DM Has Done for Your Campaign, Part 3. But I want to say first that the first story isn't technically in line with the title of the video. The guy was the DM for a pretty cool event, however, that one of his players did, and he did let them do something that they even kept secret from him. For the level of trust involved in that as a DM, and for the story that took place, we're definitely including it in this video. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Since I'm a forever DM, I'm going to tell you what one of my players did that blew everyone away. My group consists of 2 couples, plus my wife, plus 2 more guys whose wives weren't interested in playing. Most all of us were new at playing, and we're learning as we went. But one of the guys, the ranger, had so much fun, he would tell his wife everything that would happen when he got home after a session. One day, she asks if she can join in for a game, or 2. So I walked her through the character creation process. The ranger's backstory was that he came from a wealthy family, but got so disgusted with their way of life that he abandoned them to live in the woods, as one does. For her character's backstory, they talked and came up with, oh yeah, he forgot to mention he had a wife that he also abandoned, but rather than be sour about it, she went her own way and became a cleric. It was goofy and a little on the nose, but she role-played it perfectly, so much so that we joked that she should take over for her IRL husband in the campaign. Unfortunately, because of her work schedule, she only played the 1 session, but would sometimes come over to listen to us play while she studied. Fast forward 2 years later, and they get transferred to a duty station on the other side of the country. COVID really screwed up my timeline for the game. I was expecting to have finished the campaign last summer. So the Rangers player and I start coming up with a way for his character to exit. Because of him preparing for the move, he had to miss a couple of sessions, which we played off as, too much time in the city, need to disappear in the woods to clear my head. A week before his last session, he calls me and says, I got the perfect exit and my wife wants to help, but I can't tell you the details of what I'm going to do yet. As a rule, I don't usually like it when a player won't tell me the details of something because that makes it really difficult to plan for. But I trusted him and said, sure, go ahead. Next session starts and the Ranger PC has returned with a new clarity and resolve, but still seems distracted. We roleplay a few things and then run some combat. At the beginning of what I know will be the last round, the wife texts me to say she's in place and to notify her when she's clear to come in. I had left the back door to the house unlocked and called her in so she could hear my narration. When I said, you hear a knock at the door, she knocks on the back door. All the other players were like, wait, what? The Rangers player narrated how he went to open the door and, surprise of surprises, his wife is the one standing there. Everyone's jaw had dropped because she had dressed the part, something none of us have ever done. And I'm talking full-on cosplay. It was impressive. She's in character as soon as the door opens and sits at the table to explain why she's there. Apparently, the couple days in-game the Ranger was away, the 2 had crossed paths in the woods and had reconciled their relationship. And now it was time for him to return home and care for his child as indicated by the orb of ultra-seeing that says it will be born at the dawn of the new year. With that statement, she pulled out a decorated jar with some LED string lights that made the ultrasound photos inside seem to glow. They were hers, and this was their way of telling our group that they were expecting a baby. Everybody went nuts, and it was one of the few times no one really cared that the game had been derailed. Oh my god, I can't express this, but I am beaming. That is the cutest and coolest thing. Congratulations on the kid. Wow, that blows my freaking mind to pieces. Oh, that's exciting. I'm so sorry for breaking this, but that was exciting to me at the end. Oh my god. It was more than just the DM, but I think this fits with your question. So there's 6 of us, and we're all good friends, and so we talk outside of D&D sessions as well. If any of us miss a session, we get a full deep dive and discuss what our characters or character may have been doing while we were unavailable. The DM had us going through their homebrew campaign that dealt with mystery and subplots within a kingdom. We had a ranger, a warlock, a fighter, a cleric, and myself as a bard. We had uncovered a murder cult that worshipped a false hydra and were responsible for all the missing people in certain districts. The plan was to investigate the 6th district and return back to our safe haven. The ranger and I were absent a few sessions ago due to some after-school activities. They were in theater and I was a photographer for a yearbook, so we were both working at a play. We were caught up in what the rest of the group had done while we were gone. This session we had found a trail that had led to the sewers where the beast potentially was. We all gear up and inform the castle guard of our intentions, leave notes and all that jazz just in case, and then head our way to finally stop the false hydra and its cult. Making our way down a manhole and through the sewer, we run into some cultists and we fight. I notice something is off with the fighter. He used a feature that I didn't remember him having, but I changed focus onto the battle at hand. I get drowned twice and the cleric once after healing me, but that's when stuff started getting weird. The cultists were taken down, of course. The real fight was still ahead, but looking at the downed cleric, everyone notices that they aren't the same cleric we knew. They were a changeling. We help them get back up and we start asking questions. They say that we're all on the same side and that we need not to get distracted while we're so close to our goal. This was disturbing to say the least. The cleric had been acting as the angel on my character's shoulder and been quite involved with trying to offer alternatives whenever my character attempted some money-making scheme. Out of everyone else, I trusted them the most. Well, they were right, and we were still in danger. Not the time for questions. We make it to this one part of the sewer. Just imagine the Chamber of Secrets from Harry Potter 2. Ooh, now I want to watch that. And see the beast. Just to point out, we had our ears stuffed on a small device made by the royal scientist that would block magic and magical-like effects in a small one-person zone. Very small and janky device that broke after a bit, but it came in handy with fighting the false hydra. We get the jump on it, but the fight was not easy. The warlock and ranger go down while I am forced to hide behind some rocks, or I'd share the same fate. The cleric helped the others back up and I attack from behind. After a long and honestly terrifying fight, the beast is defeated. But again, something is way off. The warlock was a changeling too, and that's when it was revealed that everyone in our party, bar the ranger and I, were changelings. The one session that we missed, everyone had died, and so they thought, what if we just replace our old characters with changelings and pretend to be the same people? That's why the fighter did something odd. They had a different subclass than the person they were before. The ranger and I were boggled, and we didn't see it coming. It was a pretty crazy twist. As they explained all that, the DM basically said we can level up, which made the party all happy, but the fighter said something that made me pause.
Alright, level 7.
You mean level 5, right? It was then that the twists kept coming. For some reason, I had missed the moments where we had gotten levels from completing milestones in the mystery. I was 2 levels behind. Everyone, including myself, erupted in laughter and amazement. This whole campaign had mystery, but the amount of insanity that happened within those 2 minutes of learning about the changelings and my underleveled character will be a moment that sticks with me forever. Even days after the session, the ranger and I were dumbfounded at what had occurred. The biggest plot was not the one in the kingdom, but the one the DM and other players had worked to create. There are some details I've forgotten or wasn't quite sure how to add into the story. Like one point while fighting the false hydra, we see grotesque and warped faces of the party members beside the ranger and I along the body of the hydra, with other faces and stuff too. Just a lot of twists and clues that led up to that huge moment. Guess you can't really trust anybody these days, huh? We tracked down a necromancer into his cave and fought him. As we were about to beat him, he began to teleport out, so we yelled, "Yeah, run, pussy!" After the fight, we go back into town and everyone is in the tavern thanking us for chasing him off. Some people are putting up party decorations and they invite us to stay and celebrate. As we are at the bar, the bartender says,
Oh look, the banner is ready.
We turn around and the banner being hung says, "Run, pussies." We look at each other wide-eyed as the bartender says, "Do you not realize I have the whole town under my control?" Then a glyph glows on the rug and the entire bar ignites into a massive fireball. We all get up injured and look around to see the corpses of 3 dozen townsfolk begin to rise as flaming zombies and turn in our direction. Holy fuck! Pieces of burning timber begin falling in random places on the grid at every initiative. 20.
Roll initiative.
The quick wit he had to have our own insult put on the banner and this crazy situation erupt just floored me. There were some clues that were there the whole time that they were under his control. All started to make sense. We had just started Curse of Strahd as a party of 6. I'm going to just say it right now. Potential spoilers for Curse of Strahd. Everyone says it. Personal drama broke out and we quickly became a party of 3. Overall, morale was pretty low and the 3 of us who remained were getting heavily curb-stomped. So the DM gave each of us our own specialized patrons that gifted us the ability to take a second subclass for our characters. The campaign was still very hard, but it definitely felt awesome having what was essentially a 2-in-1 character. In the final campaign, after a handful of other campaigns leading up to everyone graduating from high school, the DM made a set of collectible hero cards that we could find with our past BCs on them, all with trivia and challenge ratings and stuff. It was very touching and brought back some great memories of past sessions, and honestly, a DM that does that just kind of warms my heart. I kind of wish I would have played D&D back then now, so kind of sad, kind of like a melancholy feeling. The DM had us all prepared to trek up a frozen mountain to fight a white dragon, my favorite kind, mind you. My character decided to climb to the peak to get the lay of the land. When I reached the top, he described a very beautiful scene, and that it brought me inner peace. I gained +1 wisdom for having taken in the sight. Then immediately, a meteor crashed somewhere in the distance. Boom! Basically, it was a really cool boon for doing something as mundane as climbing to the peak, which not everyone would care about or do. Hey, that's a really cool thing your DM did. Proud of you. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA, back at it again, checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, to subscribe, and to ring that bell to get notified whenever we post, or just on the off chance we go live too. Though if you'd like to catch us super live, do so on our Twitch page. And make sure to check out our TikTok, which has some random flavor text bits of stories here and there. You'll certainly like it. All the links for that are in the description below. Got a story you want to share? Please do so on our subreddit, r/MrRipper. And if you want to come say hi to me, Brian Von VA, over on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, whatever, come do so. Links are in the description below. I do a lot of stuff too. That being said, I always try to end on a positive note, and I just want to say this. Reading all the cool things that the DMs and the parties have ever done, it's never going to get old for me, because seeing people do human things to make other humans that happy, I mean, the first story alone made me almost cry, and then the second to the last story made me want to just cry too. But it's good tears. It's wholesome content, and I'm proud of every single one of you that ever tries to make somebody else's life better in D&D, in any TTRPG, or in the world. I'm really proud of all of you for putting your best foot forward and trying to help someone else, because especially nowadays, everybody needs to be on the same page, loving one another as best as possible, or at least leaving each other the fuck alone. So all the love to everybody out there. Please stay safe, be happy, be healthy, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.